Hey, welcome back. I'm Sean, one of the co-founders of Pippa. And today, we're going to be walking through the Tell a Story workflow. Now, Tell a Story has the most customization options available, and it gives you the most creative control from A to Z. But instead of talking about it, let's jump right in. To get started, click on Tell a Story. Now, this is going to give you two options to use the wizard or chat with Pippa. Today, we're going to be using the Story Wizard. So click that to get started. Now, the first page is going to look very similar to some of our one-click workflows. On the Design Your Story page, you're going to set the title of the project, your aspect ratio, the art style you're going to use, the quality of the animation, and the story format. And then finally, you're going to decide exactly how you want to tell your story. Now, we're going to go through each of these in detail together. First, a little about the user interface. On the right side, you're going to see a card. This card will build as your project is built, so you can see all of the elements and choices you've made in one easy-to-find place. Let's name the story. Let's call it The Friendly Tank. And we're going to choose 9x16, and we will click on the image to choose an art style. Once you're at the art style page, simply click on a tile to see a preview. I'll choose Classic Wonder. You can see other images that were created in the range gallery using the same art style. And then finally, you can see animation previews of how that's going to show up with different levels of video animation. I'll click on Use This Style. And then I'm going to choose Standard. Now, Standard uses Seedance 2.0. You have the choices of using Mini, Seedance 2.0 Pro, and as of August 2026, Seedance 2.5 will be an animation option at the end on the composer. For now, I'll just choose Seedance 2.0, and then I have to decide the story format. So story-driven is where Pippa will actually create a story with action and dialogue. It'll play a lot more like a movie, while narration will create an audio track like a narrator that plays over the entire video. That's great for making a book come to life where you want the narrator to say everything that's going on, or a commercial where you're explaining a product. We're going to choose story-driven. Finally, you have three ways to tell your story. You can write with Pippa. With Write with Pippa, you'll actually use our AI tool to get creative with the type of story you want to tell and iterate live. That's the choice we're going to choose here. You can upload a document or audio file. If you upload a document, we'll use that just like a story. If you upload an audio file, we will transcribe it and make that the basis of the story. And finally, you can record audio directly here and use that. We're going to choose Write with Pippa. We'll click Continue to go to the next step. Now here's the Write with Pippa page. It's time to create your story. You can put in a few details and Pippa will create a story for you to review and approve. So let's do that together. We'll list the characters. We said it was a friendly tank story, so let's say, we're going to get creative here. Let's say a tank, a plane, two friendly soldiers, and an ogre. Then add any plot or goals of your project. Let's make it something friendly about the tank. Now, we don't have to have the whole story figured out because Pip is actually going to help us write the story, and we can iterate back and forth until the story is exactly how we want it. So I'm going to just start really simple. And I've written, the tank makes a new friend from a grumpy ogre. Now the length, I'll keep it at 30 seconds. You can make this up to 10 minutes long, and then I'll click Generate Story. Now in a few seconds, the story will appear, and we're going to be able to review it and modify it directly in the text. Now here's the story. I will actually make the text box a little bit bigger so we can see it. A little tank named Bolt rumbled along a muddy trail feeling lonely. A grumpy ogre named Gruff blocked the road and growled. Nobody ever wants to be my friend, Gruff bellowed sadly. Bolt beeped his horn and nudged Gruff gently with a smile. I want to be your friend, Gruff, Bolt honked happily. The two soldiers in the plane cheered from above, and Gruff smiled the biggest smile anyone had ever seen. Now that's a pretty nice story. I can go in here and edit anything I want, or if I don't want to directly edit the story, I can just put in notes anywhere I want. So I'm going to put in here, make the plane drop balloons and the soldiers holding a cake near the ogre to celebrate. Now all I need to do now is click Regenerate Story, and we will get an updated story with my notes incorporated in just a few seconds. And there it is. I want to be your friend, Gruff. Bolt honked happily. Two soldiers appeared holding a big cake, and a plane swooped overhead, dropping colorful balloons. Gruff smiled the biggest smile anyone had ever seen. Now, I can continue to iterate this all day long. I can change the length to make the story longer, and I can add notes. But I'm going to move forward just so we can continue with the tutorial. Once you click continue, you're going to be brought to the project assets page. This is a critical page for creating a story because this is where you can create consistent characters, consistent scenes, and consistent objects that you want to have show up across different shots in your story. So right away, the AI detected three things: Gruff, a large ogre; Bolt, a small tank with a friendly face; and then two soldiers in military uniforms. Now, it's detecting the two soldiers as a single character because they're called out as a single character. Now, this is actually an interesting use case because we can actually generate something that has the two soldiers together. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to generate two different soldiers. So I will add a new character, and then I'm going to fill out these one by one. First, the large ogre. I'm going to give him a little more detail. I'm going to say a large ogre with gray skin and huge broken teeth. And we'll see what it comes back with. The small tank with a friendly face, I'm going to say a small green army tank with a friendly face. I'll actually delete two soldiers, delete that card, and then I'm going to make the character card say Soldier 1 and Soldier 2. The first one I'll say a male soldier medic with long brown hair in a ponytail. Let's try that. And then for Soldier 2, I'll say a young female soldier in brown fatigues carrying a bazooka. We'll generate that. And while those are generating, let's look at what came out. Gruff the ogre looks pretty cool. I can make any edits I want. I can click on this edit icon to change anything I want about the character specifically, or I can generate again. I'm actually good. Here is Bolt, the friendly tank. He's got the little bullet coming out the side of his head. I kind of like that. Now, Soldier 1, a male soldier medic with long brown hair and a ponytail. That looks pretty good. We'll stick with that, and we'll wait for the last one to come out. Soldier 2. Here she is, brown fatigues with a bazooka. Looks great. The last thing to do here is to change the voices. Now, Gruff is going to start with River. If you want to change the voice of any character, you simply click on it, and you can choose between using an AI voice from OpenAI or 11 Labs, recording a voice of your own to clone, uploading a voice you already have recorded, or choosing something from your library. Now, I'm just going to stick with the AI voice here. In fact, I'm going to keep it the same. So Gruff is going to use the voice River, Bolt will use Will, Soldier 1 is going to use, let's have Alloy, and Soldier 2 will use Shimmer. You can preview any of these voices on that pop-up, but for now, we're going to keep moving forward. Let's see if there's any scenes or objects. The muddy trail, you can generate this. Now, if you generate a scene, it's going to use that as a supporting reference image so that your backgrounds look consistent. So I'm going to generate the muddy trail. It is, of course, optional. And what's the object here? A large cake held by the soldiers. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to say a large yellow and blue multi-layered cake. You can give it any examples you want, and it will generate to your description. You can also upload reference images, and if you upload a reference image, it will actually use that image to make your final character, object, or scene that'll be used in the animation. Let's see how the scene is doing. There's your muddy trail. Looks spot on. We'll wait for the object to come through, and then we will click continue. Now, the last step before we enter the wizard is to decide how you want to make magic. You can either generate a storyboard, which will not generate any images, but just give you the flow of the different scenes. You can generate images, so it is a low-cost option where you can see a representation of every scene, and that is the one that I personally recommend you use. Or you can click on Animate It All, where we will actually generate the images and the videos all in one go, so you get a finalized animation in just one click. For today, we're going to click on Generate Images. But before I do, I want you to notice on the right side, we now have the style and format. You can see small cards for the cast, for the objects, and for the scenes all in one place. You can also see that it's going to be a vertical video, that the quality we chose was standard, and all the voices have been selected. You can change any of these by clicking here on the right side, so you don't have to navigate through all the pages again. All right, let's click Generate Images, and when we come back, we'll be able to look at the storyboard.